All right, you guys, I just got a video sent to me by someone who follows me, one of my parents, and they said this is why what you do is very important. And I watched this video, y'all, and all I gotta say is just look over. I'm a critique some of it. I'm not gonna post the whole thing. I broke some of the stuff down, but and then I will repost the whole video on my page. But let's dissect this video together right now. So check this
I'm
part
just
out.
trying to fight. He like, Mom, what was all this for? What did I do this for? Like, don't he get a chance? Why would he do 3 more years in school? He didn't fail. The school failed him. The school failed at their job. They failed. They failed. That's the problem here. They failed. They failed. He didn't deserve that. He's a good kid. Like, he didn't deserve that. Where is the mentors? Where is the help for him? I hate that this is happening to my child.
And obviously, listening to her there, Chris, you can see that she's upset. You can see the pain that she's going through over her son. But there are so many questions and people writing in on Facebook where their story is up. It's gotten 1,000+ comments from people who were moved by the story. But a lot of them are questioning the mom. Let's see. One comment here. It says the city school system, this is comment number 1, the city school system is horribly broken. It needs a complete audit and restructuring. With that said, the parents are not blameless in this. It's a parent's job to know how their child is doing in school. She knew he was failing classes, but let it continue. Unfortunately, it is the kids who are suffering from this just completely broken system.
Okay, so y'all seen that, right? And like so many other people who was looking at this on Facebook, I'm sure you have so many questions too, as do I, who has so many questions. First and foremost, right? It says just the title: high school student in Baltimore ranks near top half of class with a .13 GPA, right? 0.13 GPA. Okay. So a parent posed something that we said, like, that I think any normal person would be thinking, like, yeah, clearly there's something wrong with the school system. But, and there's that but, the parent is not blameless in this, right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Y'all know for a fact, I agree. You know for a fact, I agree. But let's continue to listen and watch.
Yeah, fair question. So you have the mother who is a mother of 3, single mom. She has 3 jobs. In a city like Baltimore, parents like her are depending on the school system to educate their kids because they're trying really hard. They have multiple jobs. And what is she saying is, you should have contacted me 3.5 years ago when my son was a freshman missing all of this school. You should have contacted me 3.5 years ago when he was failing all of his classes. If she's not getting contacted, which we know she wasn't, what concern is she going to have to be proactive when she sees that her son is in English 3, when she sees that her son is in Algebra 2, or when he's in Spanish 2?
Would she not have seen, though, a report
She didn't.
card?
She's saying
Chris,
that she didn't know.
Would she not have seen a report card that said he failed Spanish 1 or Algebra 1 or English 1?
Yes, but he was promoted on to the second ones. There is no one place to put this blame.
Oh,
so
absolutely
there's 3 aspects here. So you have the student. The student missed 270 days. He was either absent or late in the first 3 years of school. We were all 17. We were all 16. We were all 15 years old at one time. And I know how I was. Like, I was going to do what I could get away with. Mm-hmm. So if the student isn't going to school, but the student's in English 3, so then you have the mother, and the mother is saying that she thought he was progressing, and that he was a senior and he was going to graduate in June, and now he's all of a sudden been moved back to being a freshman. And I think that the dramatic swing here is really it's catching her off guard. It's not like he went from 10th grade to 9th grade. He went from 12th grade to 9th grade. Sure. And then you have the school system. And we interviewed an administrator.
Let me jump in here
anonymously.
Chris, let me jump in before you get into the administrator, because we want to hear that, but we've had so many more people join in on this Facebook. Can you recap just what has happened, and then let's talk about what the administrator says about it?
Okay, so following this next little intermission that I just gave y'all about what's going on, I understand it's hard for single parents who have to work 2 or 3 jobs, right? But my problem in defending this argument at this point is he said if her child is being seen that the child has moved up to English 1, English 2, English 3, what reason would she need to be proactive in his education? That is where I have a problem, right? I have a problem with that statement because I don't care if he's moving up, if he's doing a great job. Because he's doing a great job does not mean not to be proactive. You get what I'm saying? It don't mean just, okay, you got this, keep going about your business, right? It doesn't mean that. You should always be proactive. You should always be involved in your child's life and school life in general. Like, how else are you gonna know what's really going on? And he a high school student at that, right? So he old enough to know right from wrong, left from right, up from down, right? So it's no telling what he is or is not telling you. Hence, what is happening now at this point where we're learning, oh, okay, he was ranked point 13 at the top of his class, which is an issue in itself. Middle part, top 50, whatever. That's just insane. That just means that nobody in that school, in my opinion, has a 4.0 GPA anything, right? Like, that is bonkers to me. Oh, the lady asked a legitimate question. So did the mom not receive a report card? Did the mom not see a message? Did the mom not, how is she not aware of all of these things? Which are all legitimate questions. If you know he's graduating, or at least supposed to be graduating, how do you know what rank? How do you know any of things? Like, why don't you know anything, right? To me, that's still not an excuse. Like, at some point in between your 3 jobs, you got to have, and you're a woman, you know, we got females into it, something in you got to be telling you something is not right. Something is not right, right? Something is not right. Something is not making sense, whether it be your child or the school, because we all understand how school systems work, right? At least for a report card and progress reports and all of those things. So we know how that works. So I'm a little confused here, okay? And for those of you like, okay, well, what's going on? Let's keep watching, because he's going to explain what's going on next. So tune in.
Okay, so we're talking about Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts in West Baltimore, where a mother had reached out to us, and she had just learned that her son, who she thought was going to graduate in June and was a senior, has been moved back to being a freshman. And she recently learned that in his 4 years at Augusta Fells, in this high school, which is a traditional high school, that he had only earned 2.5 credits, had a 0.13 GPA. But yet he was ranked 62nd out of his class of 120, meaning he's in the middle of a class, 58 people are behind him, and he has passed 3 classes in 4 years. That's the severity of the issue that we're talking about here. In a school that gets almost $6 million a year from taxpayers, This is the education that the students are receiving, where you pass 3 classes in 4 years and you're almost in the middle of your class.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did y'all hear that? $6 million a year from taxpayers. And this school got 120 students. And that boy is ranked 62 out of 120 with a 0.13 GPA. Now, I ain't the one for, GPAs ain't everything and all that stuff, And I understand school ain't for everybody. But if you going to school, what the hell? Like, what's in... And this is why people don't like school. This is what I mean. Like, there is an issue here. And unfortunately, it's not just this school who has these issues. Like, it's a lot of schools that have these issues where tax-paying people, money are being just thrown out the window. Children are not learning, they're not being poured into because the administration of the team and the people who are hiring there, that are hired there to do their job, are not doing their job. Or is that all a part of the plan, right? So now if we feel like that's a part of the plan, then you as an adult, right? You should be disarming that plan in some way, form, or fashion. Like, this story is just like really stupid to me. Like, everything about this does not make any sense. And how does this go on for so long? It don't make sense to me. But let's finish up, because he said he talked to the administration. So let's see what the administration has. Oh, and before we even get there to listen to what the administrator is talking about, how can you pass somebody all the way up to senior year in high school and then say, nah, you're a freshman, let's start you over? What? That doesn't make any sense to, like, I know No Child Left Behind is when they start pushing everybody up no matter what, right? Now you pushing this person up, which I don't agree with, because if they failing, you should have failed them that first year. In that second year, in that third year that they failed. You don't let them get all the way to senior year and then be like, psych, I'm just playing, you still a freshman. They're going here 3 years for no reason. Like, what school system does that? Like, is that even legal?
But when we talked to the administrator, he had said that there are protocols put in place and interventions put in place so this type of thing doesn't happen. And they were not followed by Augusta Fells. If a student is missing so many days of school, if a student is falling behind too far, there are these things that are put in place to alert the parent, to alert the student, and to have the school community come together to find a way to get the student to school and to get the student learning. But those things started, Patrice, 3 weeks ago. For the first 3.5 years that this kid was in this school, those things were not happening. And that's what the administrator was saying. The school should take the largest blame here, because the school is supposed to be there to not allow this to happen, but it did. And the other thing that the administrator said that was important, and if you watch the story, he lays out this case, is that Baltimore City is a city we all know that has a lot of murders. It's very violent. Crime is high. There's a lot of poverty. The administrator is saying this type of failure from the city school system is playing a large part in the violence and in the poverty.
Chris, I want to read another comment from someone. Tiffany writes in and says his GPA was 0.13. He was in the middle of his class, which is alarming to realize that. The school needs to be investigated.
Okay, so clearly it's not the principal who's talking. It's a school administrator. So that means somebody in the office, because they don't want their name out there, they don't want to be shown or anything, right? And they're saying, yeah, the school is responsible. And oh, yes, the school has a lot of explaining to do. It does. It really, this is just ridiculous, right? And it should be more parents out there speaking up about this. Like, I'm trying not to, I don't know what I'm trying to do, y'all. Like, this is crazy. It's just stupid. And nobody from the faculty, except for this mystery administrator, but no one is talking about this. And probably because they ashamed and now they've gotten caught, right? But the fact that, who's to say how long this has been going on, right? So on one hand, yeah, the mom is to blame, right? But she did speak up and say something as soon as she found out. It should not have taken all this to be involved, but it did, right? 2, the school has protocols and policies in place in which to keep all of this stuff from happening, which all school systems do, right? But you don't do it until 3 weeks before, I'm just gonna assume, graduation or something, to start sending out notices and putting these protocols and procedures into place. And it's a visual art school, so I'm assuming like they are doing theater, dance, all type of little creative arts type thing at that school. This is just messed up all the way around. And this is the problem. Like, this is the problem that Dropping Gems is here to resolve. It's a problem. There is a gap. There is a bridge that is broken, and teachers and administrators on one side and parents and children, parents on the other. And who are getting affected? Who's getting affected? Nobody but the children. However you want to put it. Because at the end of the day, the parent is a child's first teacher. You are the first leader. You are leading by example. It is you who is responsible for your child and your child alone, right? School systems are supposed to be in place to help, to nurture, to guide, to help in that process, not be solely dependent on, because there's so many things wrong with school system in general, and people are willing to pay more money for gym shoes and things that doesn't even make sense. Gucci, Versace, all this other little goofy stuff, then rather pour into their child's education in the first place. Okay, let's because I could go there with you, right? And you get what you pay for in all aspects of life. That does not exclude education. So it's like, how serious do we take this? If COVID ain't showed us nothing, it has definitely showed us how majority of the parents out here in the world rely on school systems to babysit their children. You could babysit your child at home yourself and save lots of money, right? But if you're not holding schools accountable, if you're not being proactive, if you're not being involved in your child's life, this type of stuff that you see that's happening right now is going to continue to happen. And people are not going to care. They're not going to care. Until you start caring, but why would anybody else care? That's the big question. That's the big question. So what does dropping gems do? Dropping gems bridges that gap that inhibits us from pouring into our children the correct way. And this video is a full-fledged visual of the gap that I am talking about. The gap between the educational system and parents, the gap between teachers and parents, the gap between parents and their children is gaps. And you either gonna fill that gap or keep allowing yourself and your child to drop into that hole. The choice is yours. I'm going to post up the whole video on my page. Y'all check it out. But we have to do better. And when I say we, I mean parents, students, teachers, faculty, administrators, principals, directors, everybody in the educational system. Because the children are affected by it. Take it how you want to take it. At the end of the day, we know that's just what it is. So let's get it together. Oh, and before I forget, one of the big talking points in that thing is the person said there's a lot of violence, like in any major city, Chicago, LA, places like Atlanta, Memphis, there's a lot of violence and crime. And he was saying that school systems add to that. Like it's like they fuel the fire to that when they act in this way. And he's absolutely right. But we, the people, the parents, we are giving them the fuel to that fire when you don't get involved, when you don't ask questions, when you don't participate in anything unless there's a concern. My concern is you not concerned enough to just be involved just in general, just to know what's going on in your child's life in the first place. Why does something have to be wrong before you get involved? That's the problem. And we need to stop that. We need to start being a little bit more proactive instead of reactive. And then maybe things could change. So I'm going to put that out there. That's why we have dropping gems. Is bridging all those gaps. So get into them. I have a free parent education class coming up Monday, October 11th at 6 p.m. Don't be like this person. Get involved ASAP. Leave all the excuses at the door. Let's figure out how we could fix this gap in this broken system. Because we got the power. The power is always in the people's hand. And until you understand that, you're going to keep having the same problems. So, holla at y'all later. Bye.